Hi there, so this video is titled "There is no enlightenment without emotion." And I think that there is a common misunderstanding along the spiritual path and the quest for enlightenment, whatever that actually means. It's my view that enlightenment is really a human-derived concept of some sort of ultimate endpoint in your spiritual development, in which you reach the end and then you're enlightened, and that's all there is to it, and you're finished. And I don't think that that's the way that it works, that there's some sort of an endpoint to your spiritual evolution, because then what? That would kind of suck, actually. I want it to keep going. Who knows, maybe there is something that you could call enlightenment, which is some sort of ultimate state of being within this human experience or something like that. I don't claim to know for sure. But anyways, just as a general concept, the quest for enlightenment, in my view, being the quest for self-knowledge, self-understanding, spiritual realization, just coming to a more evolved state of being, which I would say can always evolve into an even more evolved state of being. But anyways, on this basic quest, there tends to be a dismissal of emotion as being part of the lower self that one should seek to separate from and not be involved in and not get caught up in. That emotions are generally disturbing to peace of mind, and thus the path to peace of mind should be one of denying and dismissing emotions, especially strong emotions like anger and fear. And I very much disagree with this and think this is the exact opposite direction. I do recognize that there may very well be a state of being which is beyond emotion, because as I see it, then emotion is a lower vibrational expression of consciousness. That thought is a less dense, higher vibrating state of consciousness than is emotion. And that even beyond thought, there is a state of mind that is beyond or separate from thought, a state of being, which does not involve thoughts or emotions. It's a state of simply pure awareness. But the misunderstanding is to then focus on denying thoughts and emotions, and as well as coming to the conclusion that mind and thought is superior to emotion and feeling because it is higher vibrating. But to generally try to get away from thoughts and emotions and focus on this pure state of awareness of being. Now, the problem with this approach is that thought and emotion are both manifestations of consciousness. Your thoughts and your emotions are expressions, manifestations of your consciousness. So they are part of your being, even though they are temporary, even though they are illusory, even though they aren't the ultimate pure state of awareness. They are still expressions of your being. And the way to resolve negative and chaotic and confusing and disturbing thoughts and emotions is through one of incorporation, one of embracing, one of moving through those thoughts and emotions as a way of genuinely resolving them, and in so doing accessing the element of your own being, the element of your own consciousness, which exists within those thoughts and feelings and emotions. Because those real feelings that we have are part of our being, and even if they may not be the ultimate part of our being, the ultimate expression of our being, they still are a expression of our being, and they are a manifestation of our being as a result of descending into lower vibrational realms. So emotions are a response of your consciousness to experiences of being in a lower dimensional realm. What is a lower dimensional realm? This one right here, Earth. Third dimensional, hard physical matter of Earth and your physical body, which is only part of your being. We are not just our body. We are a body, and we are feelings and emotions, and we are thoughts, and yet we are also something beyond all of that. And so think of it as a part of our, well, let's use this analogy, which I just used in a recent video. We're like a rainbow. A rainbow is a expression of pure white light. It is a fragmentation of pure white light based on frequency of vibration. And so you have your higher vibrating colors at the top of the rainbow spectrum of purple and indigo and blue, and then you have your lower vibrating colors at the bottom of the rainbow of red and orange and yellow, and then green in the middle there. And the way to come back into that pure white light of being is through incorporation of all of the colors of the rainbow. And so I just went through that whole concept in my video, how to raise your spiritual vibration. But what I'm getting at here is more or less the same thing, but just kind of coming at it from a different angle. And so, as I see it then, the way to genuinely resolve our disturbed, chaotic, negative states of being and our negative emotions is through the embracing of them, through the recognizing that they are part of our being, and thus they need to be part of the process of the path to enlightenment rather than separating from them. And so the way to get to that pure state of awareness is to draw into ourselves all that is truly part of ourselves and unify it into a state of wholeness, of being, and not to separate from it. And to understand that you can change those lower vibrations. Those lower vibrating energies can be changed and transformed. So rather than seeking to disconnect, get rid of, separate from, get away from, leave behind those lower vibrational states, through the focus of your consciousness, through working with those energies, you can increase their vibration. And so then you are working with substance, you are working with the substance of your being, and you are raising the vibration of all the substance of your being, rather than just focusing on the higher vibrational parts of yourself and saying, these parts are vibrating higher than these other parts, and so I'm just going to take the ones that are closer to the higher vibrational state that I want to get to, and just work with those, and hope that that leads to enlightenment, unity, wholeness, oneness. But in my understanding, it does not lead to enlightenment, unity, wholeness, oneness, because you can't have oneness with only parts of yourself, with only part of yourself, while leaving behind other parts of yourself. You have to bring everything together, incorporate all that you are, and recognize that those lower vibrational states are simply a result of the journey away from God, the journey away from source, from pure light. And so it's an inevitable result of this experience. And the way to come back into unity, to find resolution with that which has resulted from this experience, from our various experiences in these lives that have brought up various negative states of being and whatnot, negative emotions and everything, is to go through them. The doorway back to God is through that which separates us from God. And anything else is actually taking us further away from God in the quest to get away from that which bothers us. But we have to go back through that which resulted in the separation from our true state of being, and that is to go through those negative emotions and get down into them, get dragged down into them, get caught up in them with a spiritual consciousness, with a spiritual awareness that you can change and transform those states of being and raise the vibration of the deepest aspects of yourself. And in so doing, then bring all of you along for the ride rather than leaving yourself scattered, which is the whole problem to begin with, is the fragmentation of consciousness, is separation within ourselves. And so, in my view then, enlightenment, whatever that really is, must mean incorporating emotion. Getting in touch with your emotions, your feelings, your lower self, and wrestling with that stuff and figuring out how to find balance with it, how to find unity with it, how to find integration with it. And that is definitely not a easy thing to bring about, but the only way to truly figure it out is to get down into it, is to acknowledge and embrace the truth of your honest emotions, and not be telling yourself you're not angry or trying to deny that and get away from that in favor of a more positive state of mind. But if you're wrestling with anger, angry thoughts, resentment, frustration, etc., there's some anger there, and you need to deal with it. You need to look at it. You need to work with it in some way. And so it is with all of our negative emotions. So in my view, there is no enlightenment without dealing with embracing the reality of human emotion. All right, take care. Namaste.